Okay. Have you ever thought about something in your life that you took for granted and wish that you could have it back? I'm guessing everyone has because we're all human and we've made that simple mistake of taking things for granted. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what does it mean to take something for granted. Then I'll tell you a story in my life about where I took something special to me for granted. And then I'll give us ways to not take things for granted. So, what does taking something for granted mean? Well, the definition of taking something for granted means that we underappreciate what we have, and that often leads us to regret. And that is such a true thing because whatever you have, if you don't appreciate it and you lose it, you regret not going back and spending more time or appreciating it more. Here's a cool quote. It says, "Don't take things in life for granted because other people are praying for them." And that is true. If you look at different countries like Ukraine or something like that, they are going through tough times right now, and they don't have, the nicest things like we have iPhones and nice homes to go stay in. They don't have that. And we don't appreciate the things that we have, and they wish they could have our things. And it's not fair because obviously they're in a terrible situation and we have it good and we don't realize how great we actually have it. So now I'm going to tell you about a time when I was 8 years old and how I used to go camping up in Minnesota. So, like I said, 8 years old, me and my parents and grandparents would go to Lake Itasca, Minnesota, about every weekend in the summertime. And it was really fun. I mean, I look forward to it. It's just something that we did, and it was great. We get to go biking and fishing and swimming and all that, and it was super fun. Well, I regret it because one day my parents and grandparents got in a fight with each other, and it resulted my parents ending up selling our camper. And we never got to go camping again. And I was really devastated about that because obviously I loved it. Well, the problem was here, I regret my time up there because I never really appreciated my time up there. When my parents and grandparents used to hang out around the fire at night in the nice warm summer air, I would go sit in the camper and complain about the mosquitoes and sit on my phone and not enjoy the whole camping experience. And I really regret that because that's the whole part of camping is enjoying the outdoors and this, and instead I sat inside and played on my phone and watched TV. So that is just something I really regret, and I'll never be able to get that time back because it's gone. Okay, so now I'm going to give us ways to not take things for granted. Well, there's plenty of things that you can take for granted, but you also need to know what not to take for granted. For example, family time. Family is the most important thing in this world, and one day every one of your family members will be gone. You just have to accept that fact. But you can change the time with them. Instead of going over to their house and sitting on your phone and avoiding conversations with your grandparents, go sit at that table with them, talk with them, learn about them and what they did when they were our age and they were kids. I've learned a lot from my grandpa and the stories he's told me and how he was when he was in high school. And before, I used to be that kid who avoided talking with them and would go sit in the living room and wouldn't talk to them and just avoided everyone. But I've changed that. Today, I always go and visit with them, and I go over to their house because I know someday my grandpa and grandma will be gone, and it will be a sad day, but I don't want it to be a time that I will regret. So here's a cool quote by Kirby Puckett. Don't take anything for granted because someday it's all going to be gone. And like I said, that is so true. So today we talked about what it means to take something for granted, and then we talked about a story about my life I took for granted, and then I gave us ways to not take things for granted. And I just hope that every one of us appreciate the things that we have because, like I said, they will all be gone, and you don't want that to be something that you regret in your life. So the next time you are with family and friends, enjoy every moment.